and welcome to another episode of Convention Confessional. My name is Katy Hunt, and I'm here to guide you through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the convention world. And sometimes I do it with a little help from my friends. And today I am very excited because we have someone on here who has seen me through most of my convention career, for the most part, mostly, kinda. Fan club number one member right here. It's Meg.
Yeah.
Hi, Meg.
Hello.
What do you mean not yet?
What?
First of all, before Meg says anything else, she is fan club member number one because Meg is the one.
True.
Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, I thought you said that wasn't it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. You are the one who came up with the Katy motherfucking Hunt, and I blame you.
Oh my God, was I?
Yeah, you were.
Amazing.
It was you.
I'm proud of that. I gotta say, I got some pride. I had no idea that was me.
That was totally you.
I knew I said it, but
I
never realized that I was the first to say it. Now I feel kind of
honored. You were. And I was like, no, don't do that. And then all of a sudden it like spread like this little weird wildfire. So it's happened to like quiet.
Perfect. Shouldn't change a thing.
Okay. Say hi, Meg.
Hello.
Meg and I used to work at Kineticon together, and we were friends through other mutuals at Kineticon together. Meg, do you want to talk about the first time we actually officially met? Because the first time I actually ever saw Meg was in one of the Kineticon musicals. But we didn't meet then.
Right.
No.
You know what's terrible, Katy? I don't remember exactly the first time that we actually met because I had seen you so many times. Mm-hmm. I don't remember actually being introduced to you.
It just happened.
I literally don't. Do you?
I do remember. So it was, I think it was like the second year that I worked at Kineticon. So it was 2010. And
okay,
it was definitely 2010.
I didn't go to Kineticon that year.
Oh, then it was 11. Or did you go back Avengers year?
So the first year I went in 9. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I went in 9.
Yep.
I did not go in 10, and I didn't go in 11, but I did go in 12.
So it had to have been 2012 then. It was 2012. Everything kind of mooshed together, but it was definitely in 2012 because I remember exactly how we met. It was like you walked into cosplay headquarters and we were on a break and we were all dressed up like the Avengers because it was Saturday and we were doing Avengers for the Masquerade. And you walked in and I was dressed up like Tony Stark and you were introduced by your friends. Like, oh, this is Meg. And I was like, oh, hi, Meg. I'm Katy. And I took the lei that I was wearing off of me and I put it around your neck. And I went, and now you've been laid by Tony Stark.
And there's a picture to commemorate it.
There is a picture to commemorate it.
There's a picture on Facebook to commemorate the time I got laid by Tony Stark.
That's how Meg and I met. Yeah, right. Profile pictures.
Just got laid by Tony Stark. I do remember that. I did not realize that was the first time that we actually met.
Like officially met, because I'd always heard about Meg, like because I work with Jess and Ryan, and like they would have been like, oh, our friend Meg, and like through the grapevine, I was just like, oh, Meg, and when I finally met you, the first thing I decided to do was lay you, so it's like there we are.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. That's a story you tell your children.
It is. I'll tell my kids someday.
Like,
by the time I got laid by Tony Stark.
It's like, wait, how did you meet Auntie Katy?
Well, it was this lei. No, to be perfectly honest, because I remember like going to parties and stuff that you were at, and we were like in periphery circles, and it was one of those things where like I thought you were cool, but I thought you were like too cool to hang out with me.
Stop it. That's not true.
Seriously. Okay,
what is wrong with you people?
Because you have to understand, like, in the interest of full disclosure, I was not an anime person at all. I ended up getting involved in the con scene because my friends were all anime people. And so whenever I hung out with the con crowd, I always felt like kind of the hanger-on that had no idea what she was talking about or doing. So, yeah. When seriously.
I don't know. It's just like, I guess it's like this complex that I have from growing up and being in middle school and being like bullied my whole life. And it's just like this concept was it, but like this concept, because whenever I talk to people, they're just like, "Oh my god, I really thought I was too cool to talk to you," or like you were like so popular, blah blah. It's like I've never considered myself the cool kid until like I've talked to all of you guys on this
Yeah,
podcast.
but like you, I don't know. I think it's the aura of confidence.
Is it
Yeah, definitely.
confidence or
You have a
cockiness?
great
Which
aura
one?
of confidence around you.
You fake it till you make it, Meg.
That's it.
It's like that is I will live by that till the day I die. It's like, do I know what I'm doing? Nope. Am I going to pretend I do? Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yep. So, Meg, what was your first convention?
So my first ever convention was actually 2007,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the it was the summer after I moved back to Connecticut. Actually, it's 2 years after I moved back to Connecticut, and I was pretty lonely because I was in grad school. I didn't have a lot of friends, and I started hanging out with Jess and Ryan, and both of them were involved in the second Connecticon the musical, and my sister
Mm-hmm.
was writing the script for it. So I don't even remember what happened. I think I just kept like hanging out at the rehearsals because I had nothing better to do. And I don't remember who asked me. I want to say it was Jess because she was co-directing and pretty much stage managing the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And um, she said we need a left side stagehand lead. I'd never
Mm-hmm.
stagehanded in my life, but I was like, whatever, sure. Um,
Sure.
and realized that that also meant going to the convention. So I threw together the world's like most discount knockoff Tifa from Advent Children cosplay.
Yes.
Like, I
Nice.
mean, 90% of it was bought at Salvation Army, and the other 10% was bought at like Old Navy.
Yes.
Seriously, I threw it together. I borrowed a pair of combat boots that were 2 sizes too big and had the blisters to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I went to this convention and I thought, I cannot do this. I'm going to make an ass of myself. And I actually had a lot of fun. I hadn't
Yeah.
expected to have as much fun as I did. And I think that's really kind of like um, something that people don't realize with conventions is that it's not even necessarily like you don't need to be into any specific genre. I certainly was not into anime. I don't think I'd even seen an entire anime at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really did have fun, like seeing the costumes and taking pictures of people and like really being in awe of people who, you know, the craftsmanship and the amazing costumes that I was seeing and the pop culture references. And I didn't get a lot of sleep that weekend and I had a really good time. And I almost got knocked out at the rave because Ryan like hit me in the head with his elbow by accident. That's a whole other story.
Sounds right.
But no, I had a really, really good time. Um, so that was 2007. That was fun.
Okay, so 2007 was your first convention. Cool, cool.
Yep.
So I mean, like not too far behind the rest of us because I mean, I only started going to
No,
conventions in about 2004, so it's only a couple years like behind.
no, but that was the only one. I never went to any other convention. I just went to Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
and I only went, I think, 4 times over the years in
Right.
varying capacities.
Sure.
The last year that I went was the year that we worked together. That was 2014, because my wife, then fiance, was working in Cosplay HQ, and it was again. I keep getting roped into things because I'm bored. I wasn't seeing enough of her. She was going to all of these meetings, and she was like, "Well, do you want to come help out at Cosplay HQ?" And I was like, "I feel like you need an assistant." And at the time, I was working as a secretary, and I kind of was a personal assistant. So I was like, "I'm good at this thing. I can do this." And that was how I ended up working at Cosplay HQ, next to Melissa for the
Mm-hmm.
weekend.
Right.
That was a good year because we had the hotel room and
Oh God, that was an amazing year. That was the year. Yeah, it was like you, me, and Jess and Melissa in a room, right? That was the year.
and Danny.
Oh,
Danny was
Danny,
on the floor.
the sleepy teepee.
He was so good about
So,
taking the floor every night, like really.
oh my God, he was such a sweetheart. Like we had the best time with him because he was like he was. I mean, he's a
So
little bit
chill.
younger than the rest of us. Not, yeah, like so chill. He's a little bit younger than the rest of us too. So he's like at that point, like kind of fresh faced, new, adorable. Like we all loved him, and like we kind of end up be like kind of like room mom to him a little bit at that time because he was making questionable choices about boys that he was like meeting on the dance floor.
I just
Remember?
remember feeling like such a jerk because we had made the decision early on. Like that was, we made our like room rules, and we said nobody is like who doesn't have a key to the room is allowed in the room.
Right.
And I remember I walked in and he had like a bunch of friends in there, and I was like, oh. And he was so embarrassed. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, Danny, it's okay. Like, and I felt bad because I'm like, the rule seemed like such a good idea at the time, but then in practice, it's
Right.
like, you have to tell your friends to leave. And I felt really
Yeah,
bad.
right. They gotta go.
I did.
I just want to lay down. But he was such a good. He was so good about it. He was just
He
like,
was
I'm
a sweet,
sorry.
he really was. But that
Ah,
was like, honestly, I had roomed with people at Kineticon before, and it was always like, who's going to take the floor tonight and who's paying
mm-hmm.
for what? And it was always a mess. And that year was actually really great.
Right. I mean, that was also like we decided to that no, like the ding. Remember our poor chicken ding?
So that was the year before you
Yeah,
guys
we
did
can't
the
get it
ding.
anywhere.
And then Jess and I made the poster, Kineticon runs on ding.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it on your bed. And then we
Yep.
tried to order the ding and they didn't have it. And I remember how upset you were.
I still am. It's like one of those Everest things. Like I just want to know. I just want to know. Like why is it so hard? Like
The
there was
almond
this
ding.
meal. Yeah, it's like it was chicken almond ding, and I'm like, okay, but why? Like, what is this? And it's probably just honest to God. I would probably order it, make from someplace now, and I would get it, and it would be like, okay, my life made, like my fields are watered, like it would, like everything's great, and all it's gonna end up being is some dry ass chicken from a Chinese food place with like raw almonds on it.
It's going to be disappointment.
It is. It is. And I know that. I know that in my mind because I am a sensible person, but that doesn't mean I don't want it. And that's been like, that was 10 years ago.
And yet it
Almost.
lives rent free in your head.
It does. It does. Honestly, like, there it is. For the rest of my life, I have to be tortured in knowing that I never got chicken almond ding.
Just living rent free in your head there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Late at night. That's what besides counting ceiling tiles, that's what I sit and I think about. Melissa and I were talking about that the other day. So, like, the room that we were staying in Connecticut is at the Marriott, right?
Yes.
And like we were on like day 3 of like barely any sleep because convention life. What are you gonna do? And I just remember I was laying there not sleeping for like the 17th time, and I'm looking up at the ceiling, and there are these tiles, which is weird because I feel like ceilings like in hotels are normally just like a normal ceiling, but this was like a tiled ceiling for some reason, and the tiles weren't even in the room. And I just said it out loud thinking nobody else was like awake. Like Danny's sleepy teepee on the ground, Melissa's snoring next to me, like, and no one's awake. And all of a sudden I'm just like, the tiles aren't even on the ceiling and I can't get over it. And Jess sat up in bed. It was like, that has been bothering me all weekend.
Was I asleep? Because I don't remember.
You must have been. You must have been. But I just remember, like, just shot up in bed. She goes, it's been bothering me for days.
That is such a Jess thing.
I think we did. I think we both died laughing because we're trying not to wake you and Melissa and Danny up. We're just like, oh my
Oh
God.
my God. That is funny. No,
Yeah,
I definitely was not awake for that because I would have remembered it, but oh my God, that is so funny.
But it was a definite like 2 a.m. Sunday morning of like Kineticon thing where I was just like, I can't sleep because the tiles aren't even.
Amazing.
Did you room with us the year we had Halden in our room? Was that different people?
No, that was not me. That might have been the year before.
Okay, yeah, because Halden, like a lot of people slept on the floor in the hotel rooms I stayed at Kineticon.
Oh God,
like Halden
same.
and his now wife slept on the floor. Danny was on the floor. God, I've slept on the floor at Kineticon a couple times.
I have never actually slept on the floor at Kineticon.
No?
No, I got lucky. The first, I want to say the last year before I roomed with you guys, we were there the first night, so Friday. Yeah, Friday night. And then Saturday morning, I woke up with like the world's worst migraine. And I was like, by the end of the day, I said, you know what? I live 25 minutes away from here.
Mm-hmm.
I can either sleep on the floor or I can go home, sleep in my own bed, and drive back in the morning.
You
So
chose wisely.
I made the better choice. I drove all the way back to Middletown, and I went to bed, and it was great. I actually got a
It
full
sounds
night's sleep.
amazing. That sounds amazing.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the thing. We had talked
Mm.
about this on Melissa's episode, and you know it's coming. It's like we talked about this on Melissa's episode, and she said she couldn't talk about it without you. But since my sister can't answer her phone, we have to talk about it because I've left people in suspense long enough. Let's talk about the Biebs.
Oh Lord! So this has been coming. I feel like this
Mm-hmm.
story is going to be a letdown.
No, it's not. It's not. I still think it's amazing. It's going to be fine. So
So here's
let me set the tale. I'm next
okay.
door judging with Jess and everybody over there doing judging right next door to you guys who are in like our main cosplay office. And you two had a visitor.
Yeah, so we were, well, the other thing too, you have to realize like this was a stressful time.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was the day of the death match.
Yep.
Now the death match was definitely an after I was going to cons years before event.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I had gone to ConnectiCon, I don't believe there had been a death match.
Sure.
So I wasn't even familiar with it, and I didn't realize like how aggressively people want to be in it. So we had a lot of people that, and Jess was in charge of the games, my wife, then fiance, and she had been taking applications, and she'd been like, for the last month, and she talked about it, and basically all Melissa and I had to do was check people in. Well, we had, most of the regulars did check in, and then we had a bunch of people that were coming in last minute asking if they could be in the death match.
Sure.
And most of them were like pretty cool about okay, look, like there's a wait list. You'll have to come to the auditorium at a certain time, and then somebody will let you know if you're in or not, but I cannot promise you anything. And most of them just kind of were like, okay, cool. I'm sorry. I am so
Who
sorry.
does the bell toll for?
Hopefully.
Tell it.
So I'll go back and start that sentence over again.
No, it's okay. It's fine. I'm leaving it. I like the bell.
Most of the people that came were like, pretty resigned. Like they understood that this is like a very sought after competition. And they, either said, okay, we'll be back, or they said, okay, never mind. We had about 4 or 5 people that got really aggressive about being quote unquote rejected from deathmatch. And Melissa and I being, neither of us being super aggressive people. I don't even think Melissa, I'm speaking for Melissa, she didn't seem like super assertive, and I know I am not. So we were probably not the best candidates to be dealing with these people. And I'm saying that nicely, and I'm not saying this is nothing against Melissa. This is like the two of us were both like they would leave and we're like, oh my God, what if they come back? What do we do? Like this was a constant for hours. And I'm texting Jess and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And of course she can't answer the phone because she's in judging.
Right. So Jess and I would have gone over there and been like, I will murder your family if you don't leave this room.
Like
I will hunt them down. I will bury them in the river.
Just came up and was like basically threatening if they didn't get in, and I don't know what to do. And it was very, it was definitely not a job that either of us were super comfortable with.
Sure.
So while we are kind of dealing with this mental anguish of, first off, we're just in Cosplay HQ. We're hanging out with the people that are helping people repair costumes, and we're answering questions, and we're directing people, and we're chugging this coffee that I think it was called like death coffee. So we're not of sound mind. None of us got a lot of sleep last night. And this girl walks up to us. I shouldn't say girl, because I'm not sure if this person was non-binary or not. So
sure, this person.
A person walked up to us. They were in a dress. And they were decided that we were their new friends.
Cool.
And yeah. And you know something, like, I don't mind friends. I work with teenagers for a living. Every so often you get one that decides that you're their biffle and they're going to hang out in your room and they're going to talk to you all the time. And you know what? 99.9% of the time, I welcome that. Like, I want you to think that I'm a safe person.
100%.
When I haven't gotten any sleep and I'm chugging death coffee and I have aggressive cosplayers demanding to know why no isn't an okay answer, this was not the time for somebody to start hanging out and making, I shouldn't even say me, it was us, making us their new best friend.
Hi, friends.
And it was literally like, people would come up for deathmatch and we'd go to sign them in, and this person would interrupt and start talking to them, and then they would get annoyed with this person. It was like, it was just hell. And so this person was carrying a Justin Bieber Barbie doll. If I remember correctly, I don't think it was decapitated.
No, it was naked.
What?
It was a naked. It was naked Justin Bieber.
I knew there was something wrong with it, but I couldn't.
It was naked.
Exactly what it was. I'm telling you, like, the trauma has blocked itself out.
Oh, it'll come back.
And you know, kind of, I don't even remember if we asked, like, trying to be polite. I don't think so. I think they just volunteered. The Justin Bieber had nothing to do with their cosplay at all. And then they informed us that they hate Justin Bieber. And I remember asking, so what's with the Barbie doll? And I never got a straight response. But then they proceeded to talk about their hatred for Justin Bieber for probably about 45 minutes. And it was one of those things where, you know, you're sitting there and you're like, okay, great. Hang on, I got to help this person. And you're thinking, okay, maybe if I spend enough time with this person that I actually need to help, by the time I turn around, the Bieber fan is going to be gone. Nope. This person did not. And I don't even remember exactly what got them to go. I want to say Melissa and I, like, were finally alone. We had nobody there, and we kind of, like, made up some work we had to do. Like, pulled out some paperwork and started ruffling things, typing on. I had my laptop there and typing on the computer and, you know, trying to look like we're super busy and we can't handle anything else. And they finally left.
Right. Well, my favorite part of the story from what Melissa has told me is, like, it was kind of like a coax out the door slowly thing. Like, yep.
No, it really was for like 45 minutes. And it was not working. It was not working.
She slammed the door in their face.
I do not remember that.
Like, she says, like, they went out the door and I just, like, huh, and, like, shut the door. And I was like, oh my God. Like, that's how she, like, describes the end of that story, is like she walked them to the door like,
you know what?
Yeah, cool.
I do not remember that, but I also do not doubt the veracity of that at all. I do not, because, like, as fed up as I was, Melissa was about 700% more fed up than me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, Melissa is my sister. I mean, she may be the calmer of the two of us, but the patience level does not exist. She can say that she's patient, doesn't exist.
It was amazing. Like, we were, like, dying laughing afterwards. We're like, oh my God. And it wasn't even like that somebody was coming over and just talking your head off nonstop. It was just, oh my God, this is a very stressful situation that I'm already dealing with. And you're not getting the hint that you're definitely not making it better. In fact, you're making it worse.
Right.
It just didn't stop.
It's like, please don't do this.
Oh my God. It was a nightmare. Like, that whole, the death match, all of it, the lead up to it was a nightmare. So all of you that enjoy going to the death match, like, it's a nightmare.
It is. It is. And it's so funny because, like, I still see videos from death matches and stuff, and the people are just like, they're crazy. Like, they're crazy when they go to it. It's just like, you do realize people aren't actually killing each other, right? Like, you think it's kind of like, what movie are you thinking of? They put it like Thunderdome, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're not an actual Thunderdome. Like, this is literally just like a game. You guys know that, right? And then you feel like you're gonna like throw like actual weapons on stage.
I had never even actually been to one until that day when I ended up getting stuck at it because Jess was late getting back from judging. But I got to the auditorium because Jess wasn't there, and I'm like, okay, here's the list of people. And I remember going up to Halden, and there are all of the aggressive cosplayers, and they're all sitting there waiting. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. This wasn't supposed to be my job. I have no idea what I'm doing. And it was him, and I cannot remember who was running the death match. I want to say his name was
Mookie's usually in charge.
Who?
Mookie's usually in charge of the death match.
That was who it was. Okay, it was Mookie. I remember that name now. And I told him and I told Halden, and Mookie was like, okay. So this is how this is going to go down. He's like, I really don't care who showed up first this morning. What I care about is, who's going to get the most applause. Like, he's like, let's be honest. It's kind of a popularity contest. Like, you want to pick the characters that people are going to recognize. So he's like, I'm going to pick them out, and then the others are going to leave, and you don't need to freak out about that. And It was actually really, really, really nice of him because he did. He went through and he picked out the people that he felt were best. And then Halden bossed up and was just like, okay, everyone, thanks for your time. Goodbye. And it broached like no argument. And I was watching that unfold and I'm like, why can't I be like that? Why can I not do that? Very frustrating.
It is a gift, honestly.
It really is. And I'm super jealous of people that can do. I feel like you can do that. And
I can do that, but it's just like the thing is like I give off that presence of, yeah, you can come talk to me, we can be approachable, I can definitely answer all of your questions, don't fuck with me. I will be the nicest person in the world to you. I will do anything that you ask of me, but if you mess with me, it ain't gonna end well.
Yeah, see, I do that, and then like right before the don't fuck with me, that's where it stops.
Right. You get like right up to the edge of that little mountain, and then you're just like, this is fine. I live like, here.
Oh, walk on me, it's fine.
And I'm like yelling down, I'm like, Meg, get up here.
But you know what, honestly, like as crazy as that was, and as it really was stressful because as we're gearing up to go to deathmatch, and I'm like, where's Jess? Where's Jess? Where's Jess? I can't do this. Where's Jess? As tense as that was, as nerve-wracking as the entire experience was, I had so much fun working at the con. I made friends. I made friends with people that I'm still friends with now, even though I have not seen them since that convention. And it was, it's a great memory. I was really honestly disappointed when we didn't, we weren't able to go back the following year for various reasons. Because I really had, and I understood then why people like working at cons. Because when I had gone just as a spectator, I kind of got bored after a while again because anime wasn't really my thing. And I've walked around the convention center and I've seen the costumes and I've maybe gone to a couple of the events. And I'm kind of bored. Like there's really not much else for me to do. And working at it was like a totally different experience because I got to actually hang out with people and kind of make the whole thing go.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said it 100 times on this, and I've talked to people that work conventions and stuff. It's like I still like going to conventions, but if I go to a convention these days, it's like a one-day thing because after a while, it's like I can't do the 3 days of just walking around. It's like I feel like I need to be doing something. I need to be helping, or I need to be like participating in something. It's just like now that's like I've worked them for so long. It's like okay for a day to just go and hang out and have fun, but then after that, I almost feel lazy. I'm like, what am I doing?
No, seriously.
So I mean,
it really was. And the other thing, like, and I mean this with total honesty, I'm not like trying to get all sappy here, but my other favorite thing that came out of that was I became such better friends with you and Melissa. No, seriously, I mean, I especially. What are you doing out of bed, Mario?
Oh no, it's alive.
It's alive.
Don't look at it. It'll go back to sleep.
Literally just ran up to me and just big shitty grin on her face, and I'm like, "What the hell are you even doing out of it? This is constant now. It's awful." No, but
It is
seriously,
small
I
child.
I had I had definitely talked with you before, and we had I want to say we had hung out a little bit, but again,
Mm-hmm.
always with mutual friends. It was never like a let's get together and hang out sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never spoken to Melissa at all. Like we had
Right.
never, our paths had never crossed. And I spent, God, 14, 15 hours a day with Melissa. And we had just the best time. And it really was, I was so glad that I got to know you guys better. And it
Yeah,
was
because I
great.
mean now, God, we're like bestie besties. We text.
Mhm.
I text Meg the most random stuff now. It has nothing to do with convention stuff. Like I just text her like the most random things.
No, they're always great.
I was like, Meg,
I
who
love
can I
it.
talk to about random shit? Meg, you want to hear some fucked up shit? And I always get like a 2 second response later, like, "Yep, let's hear it."
I'm right here. I'm waiting.
Yeah,
And
I'm
we've gone to
here.
Patriots games together.
Yep,
And
because yep, the Patriots are the best.
uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
I mean, like we've done like we're going to be meeting up next weekend and doing like some probably drunken walking tour of Portsmouth for all we know.
I'm waiting for it. Yes.
But I also
Um,
haven't seen Meg since like I don't think I've seen you in person
in three
since your
years.
wedding.
Yeah. Three and a
Your
half
wedding.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before I
Garbage.
was, yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah.
I hadn't had my kid yet, and she's 3 now.
Yeah. I have not met my other niece. That's good. It's fine. This is fine.
Well, she's not coming, so,
No, that's fine. No, no, she's not coming. I love her, but no.
but she's not, no, no, I'm really good. I'm really good. Like literally today, my in-laws came over, and I guess they talked to Jess, and they were like, we want to go to the beach, and we don't want you to take this the wrong way, but if you don't want to go, that's okay. And I was like, yes, take my kid, go to the beach, have fun, enjoy.
By all means, goodbye. Bye
I love my
bye.
child, but
Bye.
please have fun with her. Getting off topic. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Healthy breaks. It's healthy breaks.
Healthy breaks. Yeah,
But yeah,
no.
like it's like I said, like I feel like everybody once in their lifetime they should work a convention, at least like volunteering or just helping out, because it's a whole different world, a whole different experience, and honestly, you get to meet the coolest people. Because I mean, working with like even that last year that we worked together, and last week we had that huge catapult episode. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
pictures that came back out of it, and I was looking through it. It's like, oh my god, I remember like right after we did Hollywood Squares. We did like with the catapult people, and I hosted this Tony Stark. It's like we had all of the guest voice actors right there with us, and we spent like a half an hour talking with them. It's like you don't
Yeah.
just get to do that in the real world. It's not like, like you go to a convention, you get in line, you meet them for 5 minutes, and you go. It's like when you work backstage and stuff, you do big events and stuff, and then you have the guests in it. You get to hang out with them the whole time because you're
Mm-hmm.
staff. So you can just go and be like, hey, lunch, and they're like, sure. Want to go talk about random stuff together? Yeah, we can, because I'm not, and it's just like you don't get experiences like that. I mean, this past Anime Boston, for example, it's like if I had just been, I mean, I'm sure I would have gotten a text message had I been on staff or not, but because I'm friends with people that are like so heavy in staff, I am fortunate to get certain opportunities. And one of those opportunities was getting to do Anime Unscripted with like most of the voice actors for Anime Boston this past year. And it was like this crazy fever dream thing where it's like, if I didn't know Pat D for so many years, that I knew so many friends that had been on staff and stuff, and like nobody would have considered me for this. Like I would have just been another person walking around having like my convention life. And it's like I can't believe that I'm sitting here right now doing Masterpiece Theater with Greg Ayers, with Shrek versus Beetlejuice. like, like who gets to say that? I do. I get to say that.
It's
you know,
wild.
it's, it's wild.
And the other thing
And
too, honestly, like, and this is, not to sound mercenary or anything like that, but cons are super expensive.
mm-hmm.
And not always, it's not like you get a free ride if you do work at a con, but there are certain things that might be a little cheaper,
Yeah.
or might be comped. And if you're going to be there for 3 days anyway, why
Mm-hmm.
not contribute a little bit to the convention and help make it grow?
Right.
Even if you're
Exactly.
not doing something all 3 days.
Right.
It was a really interesting experience for me to get to be on the other side. And again, mainly just doing administrative work, but getting to help people out and
Yeah.
getting to Biebs aside, getting to talk to
besides.
Biebs aside. But no, seriously, and it is. It's like if you're going to be going there anyway. Last year we got really lucky because I remember almost everything was comped. I mean, we had the hotel room and we had breakfast, and I think we did pay for parking, but it was. And I think about like the times I went before, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like hundreds of dollars, for one weekend. It is a lot of money. So if that is something you're interested in, it's a really good way to not only save a couple of bucks, but also to really kind of get into the meat of the convention. And
100%. And like you said before too, it's like anime isn't like your thing. It's like, but you get to still hang out and be a part of our weekend by like helping out. And honestly, I think for the most part, that's kind of to your advantage too, because you're not like super duper anime. Like I have to go to all these things. I have to go to all these events. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Or like voice actors that are like famous voice actors. Like if you met one of them, you just be like, cool, you talking to a microphone. That's nice.
I would not say that.
But you so would.
I mean, listen, it depends.
Job.
It depends.
I mean? Like if it's right. But
if,
like,
if I saw the cast of Vox Machina, I would probably end up in a fangirl. Like,
oh, Meg, it's so good. It's so good. We can't get into that topic because I'll just sit here and do a podcast for the rest of my days.
No, and there is like, it's not like I don't like anime at all. I've watched at this point in my life, I have watched a few all the way through, and have enjoyed them. It's usually,
but you know what I'm saying. It's like you'd be the more like put together person to be like a guest person, because you'd be like, I know you have a job and you're a person. Whereas somebody who was like a huge fan of something and somebody did like My Hero Academia or something, they'd be like, oh my god, you were the voice of my favorite character. So it's like professionalism much higher.
No, all the people I would fangirl over are dead.
No, that's not true. You just said Vox Machina. What are you talking about?
But maybe them. But perks of being a history teacher.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot. You and like Abe Lincoln. You and Abe Lincoln.
Listen. No, but seriously. It is. And the other thing too, like, I am the sort of person that I feed off of emotion, either positive or negative. Like I definitely have... I'm super sensitive, so I do kind of like absorb what other people are feeling. And going to a convention and being there all weekend, and the amount of enthusiasm is like addicting. Like you can't help but get caught up in the excitement and the enthusiasm, and it feels really great. So it really, I can't really say, even not being a huge fan of the culture, I can't look at any of the 4 years that I went to Kineticon and say that con was a bad experience.
Yeah.
At all. There might have been a couple of hours or minutes at each that I was like, oh, I could live without that. But no, my con experience was all really positive for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, like I look back on that time and I'm like, the convention itself, what we did, 100%. Like I had a really good time, really good stuff came out of it. We all like killed it as like a group of friends and like people working for a convention to make it great. It's just too bad that it didn't continue for reasons.
Yeah. Reasons.
We'll just leave it at that. I'm sure other people have opinions about that convention and they're more welcome to come on this show too. But yeah. No. That.
Oh god.
That's the thing that happened. Have you been to Boston?
Have I been to Boston, or have I been to Anime Boston?
Yeah, Anime Boston. Sorry.
I was like, Katie, you don't remember that night walking through South Boston at 1 a.m? That was not our brightest move.
We made it to the hotel. It's fine.
That was a bad choice.
That's not even a convention story. That's
just oh my god, Jess is gonna murder me. If I don't get murdered.
It's not a convention story, but I'm going to tell it really quick because it still takes place at a hotel. Long story short, we came back from the Patriots game, and we had known that we were going to get back late. We weren't going to get back in time to go home. So I was like, I'm going to book this hotel. And I booked a, like, I don't know, Club Cruises or something. Club something. It was some, like, little mini hotel, but it was a cheap enough price, like, small room. We just needed some place to sleep because we weren't getting back until God knows 12:30 in the morning or something. Fine. And I was like, it's perfect, Meg. It's right next to South Station. We're getting off the train. We can go right to the hotel. And of course, Meg's just like, sure, Katie, I trust you, which is like
I didn't think at all. I'm like, it'll be fine. I'm not smart. Here's the thing. I am. If we're playing a D&D game, I would rate high on intelligence and low on wisdom. Seriously.
And meanwhile, me over here just being like, well, good luck, everybody else. And I wander off into the city. So it's like we get off the train and we get out of South Station at 12:30 in the morning, where it's Boston at 12:30 in the morning. And we have to walk down like towards Summer Street where like the Macy's is and everything else, which isn't as far away as one thinks it is. But when you're not sure where you're going, it's far. It's very far away. And we made it. We made it with Meg. Like, I still have marks on my arm to this day from Meg holding my arm. Walking back to this hotel.
We got about halfway there, and I was like, decisions were made, and they were not good.
But then we made it back to the hotel, and we found a place that ordered food until 2 a.m, and we had our chicken
and got wraps.
Yep, and we watched Naked and Afraid. So
which I had never seen before, and I was like, what the hell is this? You don't watch reality TV, man.
No, it's messed up. It'll mess you up.
It was really funny.
I mean, now, like, if someone approached you now, May, I know you have a kid and a business and a full-time job, but it's like, if someone approached you now and said, hey, would you work a convention again with us? Would you do it?
So are we saying that babysitting is taken care of the weekend? And
yeah. Like, everything will be fine. Like, you get kids watch.
Oh, yeah. With you guys, yes, I would.
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Speaking of cats. Hello,
what?
Wash. My co-host is here. Wash is here.
Oh, I love him.
100%. Like, I would definitely do a convention again. It would be fun. Go and get, like, the nerd weekend back on. Find a new Biebs.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't think I would ever want to just go for fun. But I would I would have liked to work one again. But no, I've never been to Anime Boston, to cycle back. I've never been. I was going to go one year, and I forget what happened. Things fell through, and I ended up not going.
That's fair.
But no, I've never.
Although, be honest with me, Meg. Now, we are in an area where we have, like, Boston Fan Expo, and we have Rhode Island Comic Con. Like, I know it's a little further for you because you're in Connecticut and stuff, but if, per se, we found out that, like, cast members from Critical Role were coming, you would go to a convention for a day with me, correct?
Sure.
Yes. And get dressed up.
It has been a very long time. I want to say the last time I did cosplay was 2009.
And what were you dressed as?
I was Gracia Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist. Yup.
I'm the worst friend. I'm the
what?
worst friend.
No,
I am literally the worst.
I'm not gonna lie though, that was like the perfect costume for me because it was like the lowest of effort.
True. That is true. I mean, it's just like a dress and a jacket. You're like, here I am.
A dress and a sweater. Except that I did wear a wig, and it was so itchy that on the way home, because I was wearing the same costume the next day, I actually bought a box of hair lightener and I lightened my hair.
Oh. How come I don't remember that? I mean, like, I like seeing you even. You had lighter hair? That's crazy.
I did. It was one day. I said, there's no way I'm wearing this wig because it's awful and it's making my scalp itch so bad. So on the way home from the convention, I stopped at CVS. I bought a box of hair lightener, and it actually really worked. I had light brown hair. And then I couldn't get rid of it for the next year. I was like, fuck. Okay. So yeah. No, okay, so that was 5 years. I forgot that I went in 2009. Okay. I went in 7, 8, 9, 12, and 14.
There we go. Okay, all right. Okay. You have to tell me about dyeing your hair for a costume. How many years did I friggin' dye my hair for, like, everything?
Yeah.
Like, Tony Stark, I dyed my hair forever and ever and ever. And, like, you know what's funny is, like, now, as like I said, and I've said it before, and Like, I dyed my hair forever and ever and ever. And then finally, it's like, I just hit a point where now in my life, I'm just like, I'm not dyeing my hair anymore because I want it to be silver and it's starting to turn gray because I'm old. But it's like, it's so funny, like this evolution of like one costume because I've just given up dyeing my hair now. It's just like, well, I mean, by the time Endgame hit, Robert Downey Jr. gave up too. So I feel like it's still canon. I've kept my hair. It's like,
No,
I've grown.
The only two times I did Gracia, and then when I was Faye Valentine, I used Manic Panic over my brown hair, which was not like, basically it made it purple tinted. It didn't actually turn it purple, but that was fine. Because Faye Valentine's hair is pretty dark anyway, so, and I really was not like, again, like the costume was like, Jess made the shorts and the top, and I bought the shirt from like, I think it was New York and Company, and I bought the boots from like online. But I was like, I was always in awe of people like you and the cosplayers who like, you know, go nuts, and everything is like, you know, it's amazing. You can really tell the amount of effort you put in. I don't sew at all, so that was never gonna be me. Like, when I want to say, I think Jess put the zipper in my Tifa costume. Like, I can hem things. That's about it.
Yeah. I mean,
I was never going to be that cosplayer.
But I mean, I also used to like bleach my hair out to do Tamaki too. Like,
oh my God.
Well, I mean, me dyeing my hair started in high school when I did Your Good Man Charlie Brown, and I didn't even really bleach my hair for that. I just dyed it a lighter brown because I feared my mother like eating my face if I actually bleached my hair blonde my senior year of high school, even though technically all of my senior pictures were taken already and I could have totally dyed it back for Melissa's wedding. So I only went like lightish brown the first time I dyed my hair ever, and then it must have been like 2005 or 2006, and my friends were like, we're doing this like group for host club and and you have to be Tamaki, whatever. And I was like, and at the time, for whatever reason, well, I mean, not for whatever reason, I didn't like using my credit card online because that was like a newish thing, putting your credit card number into like weird websites and stuff. It's like, and I didn't like wigs because I was like, well, why would I buy a wig if my hair's already short enough and like the right length and everything? So I proceeded to let my friends completely manic panic bleach my hair blonde, and I was blonde for 3 years almost because I played Tamaki so much. Like, I just dyed my hair blonde and kept it blonde and was a blonde forever. And then like it turned into, oh, my hair has to be darker for this, so I would dye it back to like a darker color. And I dyed my hair so much in my 20s just to match the character that I was going to be. It was like insane. And now, as like I'm older and old and I cosplay, and it's like, you know what? I will buy the wig because I have adult money, and everybody else that has the short dark hair is going to be old because
I know.
That's where I'm at in my life.
I think that's a whole other issue with that too. Like, I remember Jess telling me that you guys, when you judged Cosplay HQ, you guys would get super excited when the example she always gave me was like somebody made like a it was like a hat or something out of like a cat litter bin.
Yeah, what? I love people that do that stuff. That is like, oh my God, literally my favorite thing. When people take stuff that's not supposed to be the stuff they are and make them into things.
Oh, it looks really cool.
It looks so good. I love it so much. Like, people that go to the Goodwill and they buy like the t-shirt and suddenly it's a whole dress, or they buy like a jacket and they've turned it into pants, or it's like literally my jam.
Really cool. And I loved seeing that too. Like, and I feel like a lot of people do kind of get caught up in the whole like, well, I can't make it perfect, ergo I shouldn't do it.
Right. It's like, no. Like, wear whatever you want to, do whatever you want to do. Like, don't be that. Like I said, if you're competing for something and you want to win, like, the bigs, right, that's a whole different situation. But if you just want to cosplay something to like look good, like, do whatever you got to do. Like, balling on a budget, okay? Ball on a budget. I balled on a budget for a million years cosplaying before I got adult money. And, like, honestly, there are days now, too, where I still ball on a budget because I do, like, Halloween or something. It's so funny though, because like even when I do like the costume thing at my work, like, Halloween comes up and they're just like, we work at a restaurant, and they're like, okay, you guys can dress up on Halloween. And everybody looks at me and I'm just like, look, you can either come in dressed or you can come in and just see what I'm wearing. I don't care. The point is, you either shut up or show up. And I feel like that intimidation has actually made people want to dress up for work. So, they're all welcome that I show up.
I'm not gonna lie. When the year that I was a building sub in a pre-K through 8, Halloween was so much fun, and that is the biggest downside of teaching high school because nobody dresses up. The teachers don't dress up. The kids don't dress up. It's lame because the kids are all above it. They're all too cool
lame
for Halloween, and they're not at the
You're
point
not.
where they're like Halloween is cool again. So,
nobody is too cool for Halloween. Nobody.
Oh no,
If you don't like
trust me.
Halloween, you're wrong.
I can introduce you to a whole bunch of teenagers that think they're way too cool for Halloween.
Nope, you're not. Hate to break it to you. Meg, thanks so much for coming on the
No, thank you
show.
for having me.
It's so much fun. I
It's
miss
been a
you,
lot
and
of
I'm going to
fun.
see you next week. Yay.
Yes. Tuesday, right?
Yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Tuesday. Yay. Is there anything you'd like to promote while you here?
Oh, how do I do this?
Yarn. Here, I do it for you.
I'm so bad at this.
Buy me yarn.
Yes. So my wife and I we're super into D&D. We heard me talk about Critical Role earlier. And a couple of months ago, we were after we finished watching after watch Vox Machina, we started talking about like, if there was a Vox Machina line of yarn, like what colors who would have what. And then one day we were just talking. It's like we should just open an indie dye business. So one thing led to another, and on July 1st we opened Critical Hit Dyes, which is a line of indie dyed yarns based on pop culture, fantasy, lots of Dungeons and Dragons, lots of just plain dragons. We actually have a whole line based on the homebrew characters that we used to play D&D. And we're looking into doing a whole bunch of different lines over the next year. But we have a lot of fun. And if you want to check us out, we are at criticalhitdyes.com, or on Instagram, the handle is Critical Hit Dyes. DYES.
And they're pretty. They're so pretty, and they're gorgeous, and they're soft, and they make the bestest things. And they're working on a line of Critical Role ones because that's what you just said, and they're totally doing it. And I've seen like sampley things, and I don't even know what I'm going to begin to make with it. But all I know is that when a certain someone's is done and it comes out, I'm buying like all of it from you, and making like all of my clothing out of it so that I can always wear him forever. The end.
Well, that is coming. I'm not sure how soon it's coming.
It's okay. I'll be ready.
We just put the dragon line out yesterday. And that's gorgeous. That was a lot of work.
Yeah,
so we're working on Vox Machina, and we're working on
I'm just saying, you can put that character's yarn out, but there won't be any left. I'm buying all of it. So just don't expect to like have that long. All of it. Yep.
All of it.
All of it. You got it. Right. You got it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you all next time. Bye.